What's good? It's your boy Samad Savage from Montclair, New Jersey, and I'm just here to let you know you watching Heritage Hip Hop.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Karef from Heritage Hip Hop, and this is an honor and a treat, not only for you, but for myself, because it's very hard for me to say I'm a fan of anybody. But if there's a person I could connect with on some type of level musically, I get excited because they've touched my heart and my soul. Please introduce yourself to the public.
What's going on? It's Samad Savage. Show love, spread peace.
Alright, so everybody, I hope you enjoy this as much as I prepared for it, and here we go. So Samad Savage. Who is Samad Savage, and what does Samad Savage give to hip hop?
Samad Savage is the gray area. I feel like I'm not necessarily conscious rap music, but I'm not trap music. I'm not depressing music, but I'm not happy music. I'm just so many different things at once, and that kind of describes the complexity that's kind of within all of us. So I feel like I'm kind of whoever's watching this too, unless you're evil.
I feel that. For me, I used to have this thing when my friends used to pick on me. And what it was is I said, if I can't put you on my playlist, I can't mess with you. And there's only so few people that I say I could put in my playlist. So when I tell you I'm a fan, recognize I'm putting you on levels of Redman, Artifacts, Jay-Z, Nas, KRS-One. There's a lot of genres I listen to. Anita Baker, Sade. I'm putting you up there. And the reason why is because of growth that I've heard from your music. Let me talk about the first time you've ever appeared on Heritage Hip Hop. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it was like a video of a performance.
It was a live performance with Stan.
Yeah, I remember that.
And one of my favorite songs is Oh My God, right? And R.I.P. to the Competition, which is Bananas. And the reason why I like that song is because your dexterity, your wind, your pronunciation, your flow, and your voice is articulated through music, which means your voice is an instrument. You're not just a spitter, you're a harmonizer as well. Yeah. How long did it take for you to find that skill within your rapping?
I think it's really defined by the music that I listen to. I listen to so many different genres, including things like EDM and whatnot, and listening to those kind of things always made me more focused on chords. And I'll hear something and just be like, wow, how can I mimic that or redo that with my own voice? And I guess Timbaland had a part to play in that too, with like weird sounds that I make at random parts of songs and whatnot. So it's just a lot of random influences.
And the Mount Rushmore of hip hop MCs, when you ask the MCs who their top 5, I've heard Jadakiss and Redman say that it is the voice that makes an MC stand out.
Very true.
Like we'll get into this later in the interview because that's when I do my last segment. But for me, like my top 5 MCs are MCs with very strong voices. One of my favorite MCs that no one talks about is Chuck D from Polygamy. And Chuck D's voice would project over the beat, so it was a part of the beat.
Yeah.
With you, let me just bring one song out in particular. I'm trying to remember. It was the first song from Samad World. It's LaShawn's Last Hope. Is that what it is?
Yeah. When it went into Change the World, yeah.
So we have the poem, then we have the rhyme.
Yeah.
And the rhyme actually blends the poem into the beat, which makes it a harmony. And that's what I feel is missing in hip hop nowadays, is harmony. Why does harmony project from you, and is that something that you want to bring back to the music?
That's definitely something I want to bring back to music. Like, and another thing that kind of goes along with harmony is feeling. A lot of times I hear a lot of records, not just rap records, in most genres now, a lot of records just lost their feeling. It doesn't make you feel anymore. So I'm trying to bring back feeling and harmony just to make everybody like sit down and truly appreciate music and not let it last a week in your playlist and be gone.
Truth be told, a lot of people talk about how in religions the devil was this instrument, had music and all this other stuff. But it also said in the Holy Scriptures that David used, I said this in Gail Campbell's interview, that David used music to calm the savage beast. That was what's in Saul. David danced so hard to the Most High's glory that his clothes fell off. We had women who would make songs about the triumphs of war, and the men would get their spirit up to go to battle. Hip hop for me used to be a Super Bowl every dope song. I would celebrate like it was the best thing ever. And within the past, it is 2018, so for the past 15 years, it has not been that joyful for me. Where do you find your joy and your equilibrium in creating and sharing the harmony that you want to bring in music?
I find the joy in it by seeking that joy that you talk about that you once had. A lot of times I feel the same exact way that you do. I have so many songs that I could list from several different artists that changed my life, stopped me from committing suicide, like really affected me in certain kinds of ways. And nowadays I don't really see that as much anymore. So I try to be that person in my own music, and I find joy in doing that to make sure people never feel alone as I did at that one point.
That's deep, because mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, physical health have been economic health. Those have been heavy topics within the new awakening of our rap generation, hip hop generation now.
A lot of it's pandering though.
Tell me more. What do you mean?
I feel like a lot of people who do talk about mental health don't really feel that way. Or they do feel that way, but they're just doing it because it's popular now. Like, yeah, I just released an album that talked a lot about mental health on certain songs and whatnot. But what I did that was different from other artists is I share my experiences, knowing that there has to be a couple of people in the world who relate to what I was going through. Nowadays, a lot of people just say, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I have no friends, and then that's the whole song, and they just repeat that over and over again. And it's like, yeah, some people could feel like that, but that music gonna keep you depressed. I'm trying to show people like, yeah, I was at that point, and you might be at that point, but I made it out, so you can make it out, you know?
Well, the Bridge to Hope, and I'm gonna quote a rap album right now. It says, freedom is the road seldom traveled by the multitude, which means that most people do not. People say they want to be free, but they don't act on freedom to be free. Free is not only physical, but it's also mental and spiritual. It's a state of mind, a state of presence, and a state of body. You have to be present. What makes Samad Savage present in the music and not only appear in the music?
I would say the fact that, like, kind of bring it back to what I talked about earlier. That was a really good question, by the way. Since I consistently write and grow and write what I'm, like, how I'm growing and how I'm developing, I think that's what makes me the most present, because I'm not consistently staying on one topic. I don't think any of my songs have the same topics so far. Maybe if you like go back to my older music, I might be revisiting some things, but for the most part, I try my best to switch it up every time just to keep things spicy.
You know what makes me, or that made me call you a boy genius, is because in hip hop, everybody talks about the top fives, but they span generations and eras. For instance, Fat Joe and Funkmaster Flex just did an interview where they talked about the generational era MCs, who were the top five in each era. And they talked about the first five. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the first five they said were like Grandmaster Caz, Millie Mel, Curtis Blow, Shy Rock, DML, on that level. And Funkmaster Flex said a very interesting point. He said LL Cool J always gets lost because as soon as you go from that first era, everybody jumps to Rakim, not knowing that LL held it down before Rakim. And even before we go from KRS-One and Rakim and QG Rap to Jay-Z, Biggie, and Nas, Lord Finesse had a little era where he ran it. In hip-hop, geniuses don't overlap each other. They come once in a lifetime, it seems. In the beginning of hip-hop, the genius of Grandmaster Flowers birthed Grandmaster Kool Herc and Grandmaster Flash. Then it was from them we got DJ Jazzy Jeff, Terminator X as the DJ. You know, Herbie Lovebug. But we forget to mention, when we mention Kanye now, we mention Ninth Wonder, we mention Timbaland. But nobody ever mentions Kwame. And you have a certain thing to you that Kwame had. You do beats and you rhyme. What does it mean as a hip hop person to be a hip hop artist rather than a hip hop participant to you?
I think that's, I mean, the whole time you were talking about, not the whole time, once you got towards the end of that, I started more so thinking about Q-Tip. Because a lot of people don't really know that Q-Tip produced a lot of the beats, or most of the beats for
Tribe Called
Quest. So, like, I kind of feel like that in my own way. I I want to be limitless. Let's start off with that. I really want to be limitless to the fullest, and the only reason that I even know how to rap is because I was making beats that were whack, and nobody would really rap on my beats. So I was just like, you know what, screw it, let me give it a shot. And then I found out that I was like pretty good at it. I've been writing since 10 years old, producing since 8. So once I got to a certain age, I was like, all right, cool, let me try making songs. The songs was good, quality was so trash. I said, dang, I don't have an engineer, I don't have a job, I can't get money, da da da. So let me learn how to engineer. Since then, I pretty much have been producing almost all of my songs, engineering all of my songs, doing most of my artwork, doing even to a point where I was editing a lot of my videos at one point. I just try to make it so I don't gotta depend on anybody else, and I think that's what defines me as, like, not just a hip hop artist, but an artist in general.
Well, you know they say 5,000 hours in any given trade makes you a master.
Yeah, I heard.
So you're a master of ceremonies and a master of art.
Thank you.